Hi, I'm Phoebe of Phoebe's Pure Food, and welcome to Pure Food for Thought. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have a very special guest with me today. She's the author of a book. It's called Lunch with Lucille. It seems very appropriate for the Pure Food for Thought episode, right?
Sure.
I have Annarose
Ingarra-Milch.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'm
Welcome,
so
Phoebe.
glad that you are here to join me today.
Thank you, Phoebe, for having me.
Yeah, so I'm very curious to know, what would you like people to learn from your story as they hear it today?
Well, there's a lot of things. I think really the message of the book, message of Lunch with Lucille, is to remind us that we are our best asset at any age. And in fact, that age is our best asset. The longer that we live, the smarter we get.
Do you think so?
I know so.
Do you feel like at a particular age, because people say when I turn 30, at that milestone age, that some kind of wisdom is supposed to be naturally imparted?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think it's on the continuum, really. There was this guy by the name of Robert Cattell, Cattell, I think is how you say his name. He was a 20th century psychologist, and he coined two phrases of fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence.
Okay.
So the fluid intelligence is the intelligence that we have early in our lives when you can easily pick up how to use anything electronic. New things come relatively easy to us. And then as we age, we develop the crystallized intelligence. And that's what Lucille's talking about in the book. And that's the intelligence that we learn strictly by living. There's no other way that you can get that. It's only by living. That's the experience. Some people call it wisdom, call it whatever you want. But really, crystallized intelligence starts the day you were born, because as you know more today than you did yesterday.
Who is Lucille?
Lucille is my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the story is inspired by my mother, by the life of my mother, but it is a work of fiction.
Oh, okay. So when you talk about this intelligence or wisdom that we gain, and it's reflected somehow in the book, in the stories in the book, is it better to think of learning is better when it's more fluid? Because sometimes we talk about children in their youth, and they're not so set in their ways, and they're more open-minded, right?
Right, that's the fluidness of it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there a benefit to being a little bit more fluid than crystallized?
Well, crystallized in the sense of hardened.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what crystallized means. I mean, I guess if Noah Webster would say that's what it means, right? And fluid is not, again, the sense of flowing. Mm-hmm. It's just the terminology. It's how the psychologist defines learning. So the fluid learning is that which we pick up quicker, and the crystallized learning is strictly by life experience. So there's it's just two styles of learning. Okay. Yeah.
So with the book, it's a fictional book, like you said.
Right.
What inspired you to write it?
The biggest thing, the reason that I wrote it is I wanted to write an uplifting novel about the power, about the value of age, really. We talk about, women coming into their own and being powerful as they age and things of that sort. But this is really looking at it as how truly valuable it is. And so Lucille is the model for that in my life, because I watched her and I watched how she did it. And then I figured, well, if I can get that down on paper, then I can share with other people how she did it, and therefore how I'm doing it, and hopefully inspire other people to do it as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, in the book, you were recently featured on the Berks County Living magazine,
correct?
Right, for the October issue,
right? And
in the cover issue or the cover photo, you're wearing the brooch that you're wearing today,
right?
And there are 4 little diamonds,
right?
And how is that significant to the story?
Well, each diamond in the brooch, Lucille wears a brooch, and each diamond in the brooch symbolizes a different life lesson. Okay, so I go, my part of my background is I'm a trainer, I'm a professional development trainer. And so I see things in bullet points, but bullet points are really dull, But diamonds are not dull.
Okay.
So if we make them diamonds, then they're pretty. And then we listen to things that are pretty. We like to see things that are pretty. So I made the diamonds reflective of the bullet points in my head, bullet points. But also because Lucille, in real life, always wore jewelry. She was what I like to think of as a jewelry junkie. And brooches were one of the things that she always wore. Hers would be like,
oh, like the big.
Yeah, like real big.
Who wore brooches? Madeleine Albright? Is that who?
I don't know.
It was a head of state that used to wear brooches all the time, I thought. But so your mom did the same thing, big brooches in a big way.
Big brooch, big earrings, big jewelry.
So in her style of learning and sharing and molding you as a young woman, and especially if she's teaching you something that you felt you had to write down and to share, what are some of the concepts about learning at different stages in your life that were so impactful for you?
Well, I think that, it doesn't happen. It's not like you go through, school and say, this is 8th grade, this is 9th grade, this is 10th grade. It's all, it all melds together. And when it comes to Lucille, basically, I'm observing over a course of, she lived to be 92, so but I was about 55 when she passed away. And so that's what I did for 55 years, is just watch her. It's not like she imparted any pearl of wisdom on me. It's just that I got to watch. How did she do it? How did she get to be the age of 92 and live a life that some people might say was very, very difficult? And yet she found joy in every single moment of it. And she roasted and toasted every single day.
Oh, okay. I've heard this concept before from someone else then. So she roasted and toasted, literally, like at the end of the day, like she...
No, at lunch.
Oh, okay.
Hence Lunch with Lucille.
Oh, okay. I see. So it wasn't just like the close of a day that she toasted to celebrate. It seems kind of significant that it was midday.
Yes.
Instead of the close of a day waiting for the new day to begin.
Correct.
It's kind of like a celebration in the middle.
Yes.
So that's significant to the story as well?
Yes, because this is exactly what she did. I mean, this is, as much as it is a work of fiction, it really is a story of a woman's life, of how she did it. And so what she would do every day is, some people think, and you may think that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Yeah. Do you think that breakfast is the most
I think it's a great way to start the day.
Yes. Yes, it's a good way to start the day. And Lucille would start the day with a breakfast. And even when I lived there with her, as a child, when we had a breakfast. But then her most important meal of the day, even recognizing that you go home at night for dinner with your family, and you sit down and you rehash the day, her the highlight, the highest point of the day was the noon hour. And that was the time of the day to celebrate.
Okay.
Because you've already now gone through your morning, and it could be a good morning or a not so good morning, but you've reached the noon hour. And so we stop now and we celebrate the glory of the day, and she would then really hold court at lunch, and she would eat hearty and drink hearty and celebrate the day, raise a glass and say salute. She would salute the day, and everybody at the table would say salute, and then there would be smiling and laughing, and then people could either dump what happened at the beginning of the day, but then they would look forward to then what goes on in the second half of the day.
So it's almost like a reset button.
Yeah,
in a sense.
Yes.
I mean, because you're celebrating the day, and maybe at the other half of the day you have just as much to celebrate, instead of thinking of it as, I have so much work to do. Because you get into that slump sometimes.
Sure.
And you let yourself become buried, right?
Yeah.
So she celebrated.
Washed
it all off and moved forward.
Right.
Okay.
And start again.
That's a great concept.
Yeah.
You can get so much done if you think of it that way.
Yeah.
Like you can double your day.
Right.
You think of it starting fresh in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I love that concept.
I mean, when you go and you think about it, so many people now don't value lunch. And they sit at their desks, and they are in a cubicle, or they have it in the car, And so Lucille's is like, whoa, stop, join in with other people, and celebrate. Have a party at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, I love that concept, because you don't want to know how I celebrated or where my lunch went or what I even had for lunch. So that's really interesting. I love the concept. So we'll be back with more of a chit-chat about Lunch with Lucille and celebrating midday. We'll be back.